Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Cinderlands Brewing Company out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This beer is called Midnight Ramble. I don't know if you could see the description on the bottom. It's raspberry vanilla milk stout. It's a milk stout with raspberries, Madagascar vanilla beans, milk sugar. And then it has the grain bill. It says 2-row flaked oats, roasted barley, chocolate malt, pale chocolate malt, and dark crystal, and their house yeast. And it is 8.5 ABV. So let's crack it open and see what we got. These guys, I always have trouble with their cans when I'm doing a review to show what it is, because I guess you can see the label, but the name of the beer is so low on the label, you can see down there, like I have to put it really far away to be able to see in the camera. Anyways, that is a really, really dark head. For, just a milk stout, something that's not really big. I mean, I know that really shouldn't affect what color the head is, what the SRM is, but this looks like a giant, like 1050 black head. Black beer with a pretty dark head. And then, the beer itself is pretty black. It's not, like, when you roll it around on the edge of the glass, it's still not, like, opaque at all. It's pretty dark. It had a pretty dark head, but it did dissipate pretty quickly. So the aroma is pretty strong raspberries. But it does smell like natural raspberries. It definitely doesn't smell artificial. I'm not really getting any vanilla, which is probably good. And the only reason I say that is to me, if stouts have a big fruit character and then they have something else that adds perceived sweetness, like to me, vanilla for whatever reason seems to add like perceived sweetness, even though I know it's not actually adding sugar. But I'm not really getting any vanilla. It's more just like raspberries, some dark chocolate, and then some pretty dark roasted malt, almost coming off as like coffee-like. It's pretty good. There's some things I like about it, some things I don't, but there's more that I do that I don't. The raspberry is certainly the front runner in this. Like, that's what you get up front. But it really quickly fades into a nice roasty dark chocolate character mid palate, and then you still definitely get some raspberry on the swallow. And I know it says that there's there's milk sugar in it, there's lactose. I'm not really getting like that creamy body that you might expect from a milk stout. I mean, it's a little creamier than like an average random 8% stout, but not to the point where I was hoping it would be. It's interesting too, like the raspberry in the flavor is almost like perfumey, like flowery. I don't know why it's coming off as that. It's not necessarily a good or a bad thing. It's just something that I'm getting. And then, like I said, there is a decent bit of roasty character. It almost gets into that like it reminds me of like a Bell Stout in a way that it has like a little bit of almost like a black licorice character. Like, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Bell's Cherry Stout, but with raspberries. It's really funny, like, and that was the other tasting note that I was going to throw out there too. Is I almost thought it was like a little metallic, but I don't know what I was perceiving that as, because now, like, every sip that I've taken since that first one, I'm not picking that up. It's funny sometimes with these, how just after a couple sips, your tongue becomes acclimated to whatever, like, the strongest flavor is, especially if it's like an additive, and then you really start tasting some of the stuff underneath, and that's definitely what's happening. Yeah, this is pretty good. I'm really struggling to think about what rating I want to give it, because I'm thinking out what it's worthy of versus what I would do, and generally I'm pretty hedonistic about these things. I've tried to be that way, because when I say it's no bull beer reviews, I'm telling you what I think. So I'm going to give this one a drink. I'm not going to give it a buy, because I probably will not buy this again. Just because I'm not the biggest fan of fruited stouts, but I did want to give this one a try because Cinderlands has been doing some decent stuff. I think it's about as good as you're going to get from an 8% raspberry stout. If you're looking for big vanilla, you're not going to get that, but if you like fruited stouts, specifically raspberry, like, the stout itself is really well made. It provides a nice roastiness to back up the big raspberry, but it's not overpowering either. It's a nice canvas for the fruit. I'm just not the biggest fan of fruited stouts, or at least like raspberry cherry ones. I generally I like Bell's Cherry Stout a lot, but there's not many. Especially raspberry seems to be the one I like the least of all, like, the berries. Or strawberry's weird too. But the only ones that I do seem to really like are blueberry stouts. Like, as long as the blueberry is, like, really natural and not fake. Like Bell's Tray, I think, is a fantastic beer. That's just my own preference. Again, everyone has their own preference. If you like raspberries and stouts, if you like Lindley Park, granted this isn't barrel aged, but that's a big raspberry stout. You probably like this. So I'm gonna give it a drink, because that's just my thing. But if you like raspberry stouts at all, I would say this is definitely a buy, because it is really well made for what it is. So I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.